Good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. My name is Charles D. Smith. I'm the host of Undiscovered Gems. And today we have Trish Bonney, Principal Interior Design and Founder. Trish believes that a home should reflect who you are and it should be a place of pure serenity or however you want to have it. She's a one stop shop from ideation to completion. One thing about Trish that we're going to find out today, she was served in the military for 20 years in the Air Force. Now she's a creative. So how does that work? I'm interested in finding out. So Trish, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, beautiful. I'm glad you're here. Let's start off by telling the audience, what exactly do you do outside of my intro?
Well, like you said, I was in the military, and then I always wanted to do something creative. So after I retired, I did go to school for interior design. Like you said, too, we are now a one-stop shop. I started just with interior design, but I've been able to work up to the point where I have the GC license. We are able to do the architectural drawings. I did work for an architecture firm for almost 5 years. So we can do it all for you.
Great. Now, how did you start your business? What made you get, and what year did you start your business and why did you start it?
Well, I worked for others first. And like I said, I worked for that architecture firm first. And although I did love it, it was for commercial design only, um, which is very regiment. So it is similar to the military. You are told for commercial spaces, they have a specific scope of work.
Right.
Um, but with that being said, I am still a creative as well. I wanted it a little bit more. So I started a side gig while I was there for strictly residential. And
Right.
I did both for a little over 4 years at the same time. And I was working full time there and full time for Tab as well.
Mm,
I finally went solo after, quite a long time of doing both because I was just ready to focus more on my own business, um, because I just needed that more option.
sure.
I wanted to be able to do residential and commercial, and that wasn't an option at the other location. But technically, I started Tab in 2016 and went solo in 2019. Um, and I've just increased what what our capabilities are since then. I've always had an employee. Like I started in 2016, and 4 months later, I already added an employee. So
Hmm.
I've just grown the team to be able to do more and more each year.
Nice. Now, your background, I mentioned that where does the military and the discipline and the creative juices flow? How do they work together? And when you start working with someone, how does that play into you being who you are today?
20 years in the military, I worked in dental, which has nothing to do with what I do now. But if anybody else has been in the military, they know you always wear multiple hats.
Right.
Um, One of the big things that I did while I think it was for over 15 years, which I was an education and training manager. I taught CPR, self-aid buddy care, and you might think, again, that has nothing to do with what I do now, but teaching was always a thing that I did while I was there. I also got 3 degrees while I was in the military for
Oh,
education. Um, with that being said, to me, a benefit for all my clients is I'm educating them along the way. I'm trying to explain the process even more, but I'm also saying, this is why I'm showing you this option, like say it's a plumbing fixture, and educate them on what it does and, how it would perform for them better than something else. So that's always an additive for me that I can do for the clients. But it's also, there are so many steps that people don't understand that go into, especially bigger remodels or brand new builds.
mm-hmm.
But even things like furniture, I can show you a piece of furniture that we can customize, and I have to be able to explain to the manufacturer they want this fabric here, they want that fabric there, they want this stitch. There's so many steps to it. So when people aren't used to following all these steps in the military, you're told what to do, when to do it, how to do it, why, what time, all the things. In my world now, I'm the person that has to direct that show, but at the same time, I have gotten to a point where I know what to do, when to do it, how to do it. And like if somebody tries to DIY something on their own, a kitchen, there's so many things you need to think about. You know, you've got your inserts and where are you wanting to grab things from? So there's a lot more to it. And I think, again, my background helps to make sure that I hit all those points.
Right. And I'm glad you explained that because there are many people out there that want to start the process and do it themselves, get into the process and realize how intricate it is. And then they stop and call you. I'm sure you've had many clients come to you when they started along the way and figured out it's a bit more difficult than what I thought.
Right.
Tell us about your client base. So give us a story on, well, first, have you ever had to turn down a client based on the kind of a intake or starting off with them where you realize this isn't going to work? And what made you do it?
I mean, there's clients that I've turned down, and then there's some we're in the process that I have technically had to fire. One example of somebody that I would fire is right now, AI is huge, and a lot of people can create renderings, thoughts. AI is great, but it's not quite there. And we create renderings that are still, we have to make it, and we do it to scale, and we make sure we put the right colors that we're proposing and whatnot. And recently I had a gentleman that I would create the proper scale rendering, and he would turn around and do an AI version. Because of that, it's kind of like every time he created his AI version, one, it was doing unrealistic things that couldn't be done. And it wasn't taking into consideration, he wanted to keep his existing cabinets, and it wasn't allowing for the right configuration. And the client still had it in his head, but I want it this way. And I had to say, unfortunately, it's not possible. And I don't think it's worth your investment to keep working with me when we're fighting one another. So there's something like that can happen. If somebody is consistently trying to do something on their own, why hire me? And that's fine. You know, like I think they just want my second opinion, which I don't mind doing that, but I still don't want to waste people's time and money. Why I haven't taken a job, like I do have my contracts created by my lawyers. I am always trying to be as open and ethical as humanly possible.
Sure.
And when people want me to change my contract to fit their wants and needs, those are times where I'm just like, well, we're just not a good fit. And I might even refer them to another designer to see if, you know, they want to work it out with them. But it's usually contractual stuff.
Yeah. Well, that says a lot about you that somebody's paying you, but you stick to your goals, your values, and what you deliver for clients overall. That says a lot about you just to turn down the payment because it's not working out the way you think it should. So kudos to you on that. Along the way, have you had any mentors that helped you in interior design when you got started?
Well, I mean, I went to school and I have like one of my favorite teachers. I'm still in contact with him.
Oh, that's awesome.
And any job that I had while I was in school, I interned at a lot of different places just so I could try out all the different avenues in design. And I still keep in touch with many of them. So, you know, all of those people that I keep in touch with, along with I am part of a bunch of organizations. There's the Interior Design Society, which is great. That goes across the whole US. So I can reach out to any of those designers in that organization. There's also the National Kitchen and Bath Association that I'm a part of. So, and local designers. We're a small community here, and it's great that the ones that I stay in touch with, we're a community that's willing to help one another as needed.
Right. That's great. What do you think is happening in your industry uh, where it keeps you on your toes? I know you mentioned AI,
Mhm.
but it keeps you on your toes to make sure that you're ahead of the curve and very knowledgeable of what's happening today and going forward. And it could be technology. Now, you talked about architecture. I've been in conversations where I hear more about these um, twin in architecture. You're able to develop in a room and then take it elsewhere. So they have all this technology. So how do you stay ahead of the curve?
I mean, technology is a huge issue right now.
Hmm.
But again, I think us sticking to our guns and creating those renderings without AI is definitely putting us still ahead of the curve, because there's some that are already relying on that. And when it's not accurate, that could really hurt them. But the other thing that we do is we go to, and I take my entire team, any educational opportunities, and to markets. So there is the biggest market in the United States is held in North Carolina, and we also attend some out of the United States. We just got back from Italy in April,
Hmm.
and what those markets do, they allow us to see what is new and fresh, possibly trending, what's going to stick around. And really going over to Europe, if something is over there now, we know that it'll still be around like at least 3 to 5 years, because typically anything over there doesn't hit the US for 3 to 5 years.
Is that
But
right?
what I did notice right now, currently, a big trend is like greens and browns. It's nature and warmth.
Hmm.
So when we went to Milan, we saw a ton of green and browns. So I know that that trend that is currently happening is going to be around for quite a while. Similar to, like, I always refer to as 50 Shades of Gray. It went on for a really, really long time, and
Hmm.
that trend is finally going out. I really think this, especially the browns, I think that's
Hmm.
going to hang around for quite a while. And it was nice to see that over there, knowing that they're, advanced compared to the US.
Wow. That's interesting to know that the European market kind of dictates the future of the US. And then has that been consistent over the years? That's just how it is?
Yeah, some things don't ever hit here. Um,
Hmm.
there's been some things that, like, I've gone to a market in France before, and I haven't seen those things hit here yet, and they might never. But when you see something that's already happening here and it's consistent over there, you know that that one's going to be around for quite a while. And they're even changing tones that are on, like, our metals. They're coming out with more really warm chocolate brown metals even. So because it was so big over there, I feel really confident that that one's going to be typical here for quite a while.
Wow. So, Trish, do you travel a lot to see different designs around the world and kind of take a piece here, there, create something on to make it your own?
Yes. Well, and that also, my background in the military helps with that too. I was stationed at, I don't know, I think 11 different bases all over the world. So
Hmm.
I've always felt like that helps, because I can always take those experiences and try to implement them. But traveling now, yes, I will at least attend one market, usually more than that, a year.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, and I particularly love to reuse things or repurpose, like antiques. Those are great to not only save, or not save, but help our environment, but it puts something more unique into a space than just having all new items. But we'll go to a lot of antique markets. We've gone down to Texas for a couple. They have some great options down there for those types of things. So yes, if you see my other podcast where I'm talking to Steve, he's usually asking, "Where are you today?" So yeah, that is very typical for me and my team.
Nice. When you design a home for someone, do you have certain, if somebody came to you and said, uh, and they gave you a scenario, look, Trish, I travel a ton. When I come home, I just want to relax for a week. I want it to be peaceful and, I just want serenity. I just want to really relax. I want my home to make me relax. Somebody comes to you with something like that. How do you start? What is it that you're providing for them? Furniture, colors, what do you do?
We can do all of the things that they want. And I definitely want to offer them options. I've only had one individual in the past. He just wanted me to get it done. He left for a month. He was a pilot and didn't want me to pass anything by him. I don't really like that because I don't feel it's
Wow.
for them. I feel like I'm designing for me in hopes that I get it on the right mark, which he loved it when he got back. But we ask you a lot of questions. We have a questionnaire. I will walk through your existing space. Why is the space working for you? What isn't working for you? I want to know what you don't like even more than what you do, because I want to make sure I don't waste time, which essentially is your money, on things that you're not going to like. But if you want something, you already said, very relaxing, and I just want to be able to chill out at the end of the day, more than likely I'm going to already start in my head with like dark and moody and
Mm-hmm.
really warm and inviting colors, and try to go from there. But what I prefer to do also, along with all the questions, my priority is to know what's something that really inspires you, what's something that's really special to you. So I
Mm-hmm.
see you have some basketball artwork behind you. Is there something that really stands out more than anything else to you? It could be the colors of a jersey.
Mm-hmm.
It could be jewelry, a ring that you have received or something like that. Anything, or a quilt that was passed down from somebody. Those are going to be my jumping off points, because
Mm-hmm.
those not only mean a lot to you, but I already know that they bring you calm, peace, joy. So
Sure.
so that's what I like to, if somebody has something like that. I've had people say, I don't really have anything, which kind of makes me sad, but I'm hoping that I could find something to be inspired by to
Right.
start the room off for you.
Great. Yeah, that's an interesting story that somebody trusted you that much to say, just do it for me when I get back. And you actually did it and it worked for
Yeah.
them. That's
Yeah. That was
amazing.
a scary project to do.
I'm sure. That was amazing. I don't think I can, maybe I could. I don't know. But now with your practice today, um, how big is your team? And do they travel also? I mean, I'm trying to think about the management of your business and how you operate it.
So I have, there's 3 total of us that are here full time. We have 1 intern. Everybody else are subcontractors. So like
Mhm.
my actual construction team and whatnot. But the 3, like I took the 3 of us over to Italy. Um,
Hmm.
this year, unfortunately, because I will be going to the North Carolina show or market in the fall. The other girls won't be going because one is finishing up her degree in interior design. And the other one, she wants to stay behind for other reasons. But typically, I always take them to every market that I go to, and I offer all the conferences that I think hold some importance. So typically, yes, they do go with me. Sometimes it doesn't work out like that.
Right. So you're basically always elevating your team to be able to be inspired, and you can farm them out to do things that you're not able to do all the time. That's
Exactly.
Yeah, that's incredible. Um, Now we talked a little bit about staying ahead of the curve with technology. Do you see the same trends? Like you mentioned, browns and greens with colors. Do you see the same trends like in actual furniture designs and like rectangle shapes versus oval curves? What is that like?
curves right now, any kind of finish that can soften a room is very prevalent. So
Mm.
curves, soft finishes, just
Mm.
because I feel like we are in a world today where there's a lot of hardness happening in a plethora of different areas.
Sure.
So we are trying to create spaces that are more soft and inviting and calming and soothing.
Mm.
So you definitely see a lot of arches in furniture, even in your windows and windows casings. Um, a lot of things are definitely coming out with more soft touches, and then the fabrics are becoming a lot more plush and soft as well.
And now, do you work in other states around? Have you worked for people in different countries? Um, how does that work? So you go beyond the borders of the state of Denver.
Yes, I haven't done anything overseas. I would love to
Mhm.
if
Mhm.
anybody wants to do that, but I have done a kitchen remodel in New Hampshire. I have done a full condo remodel in New Jersey. I did some work in Florida. We did a
Mm.
new home build in Wyoming. Um, I I think that's about all the states, but yeah, it seems hard to think that you could do that extent out of state. Wyoming is not too far from here. It's a couple hours. She did drive down to see a lot of things, but
Oh, sure.
when somebody's out of state, it was kind of what I did during COVID. We can do all the things virtually, but when it gets to, okay, we're going to pick out fabrics, for example, or any samples that I can have them see, touch, and feel, I will send it to them and we'll get back on a Zoom and talk about it while they're looking at them and touching everything and making sure they feel comfortable. But people are so used to online shopping, for example. So if it's a light fixture, obviously I can't send you a sample of that, but I might be able
Right.
to send a sample of the metal color. Um, but people are so used to that now. It's a lot easier than a lot of people would think. There was a full kitchen remodel in Utah that we did. I never met them until the kitchen was totally installed and completed because I did screw up on a piece of furniture. We made a mistake when we placed the order, and it was going to cost more to have it shipped directly to them. So I picked up the furniture and we drove it to Utah, and I was able to hire a photographer and get it photographed. But with that being said, I ordered all of the items that went into the space for them.
Mhm.
I had it shipped there to a shipping and receiving warehouse, and I organized all the installation. Same with the New Jersey project. I had all the custom furniture sent to a shipping and receiving warehouse. To this day, the one in New Jersey, I never was able to physically go there because it was completed during COVID. And I just didn't go afterwards. But um, we were sent photos. So, it sounds strange, but it can 100% be done.
Wow. Wow. Have you ever taken a older home, and I don't mean older antique. I mean like a home that had still 70s and 80s fixtures and actually remodeled it and brought it to a current state of today. Have you done any homes like that?
Yes, there is one we just barely finished, and we're still not finished. Next week, we are delivering outdoor patio furniture.
Oh,
But
wow.
the bones of the home is originally from late 1800s. Over the years, it's had lots of remodels, and the last remodel, I think we looked it up, is probably in the 80s. Um, so if that kind of tells you where it was, but there was a
Mhm.
lot of gray paint in there, so that was probably done in the 90s for sale to sell it at that time. But no, I'm sorry, it was probably painted in the 2000s.
Hmm.
But we recently, well, it took 2 years. It was a full gut, and we had the contractor he had hired before me, but then afterwards we came in and we did all of the finishes, the installation of all the light fixtures, cabinetry, all the furniture. And like I said, we're still working with him. So now we're over 2.5 years. The house is technically done, but
Oh,
he's still adding like finishing touches, like the outdoor. So in July, we have actually designed the landscape to go around the house, and we're going to create an outdoor. I'm calling it an outdoor retreat. It's going to have a spa, a cold
mm.
plunge. All of that is in an outbuilding.
Wow, that's awesome. I would love to participate in that one. Jeez,
I
that'd be
think we
awesome.
all would.
Right. Now, and you're remodeling different homes in different eras and different times.
Mm.
Do you ever? When's the last time you met a project that actually forced you to research and really try to figure something out because it was that challenging?
Probably that one with the 1800s. So because
Okay.
we still wanted to pay homage to the age of the home. Like it doesn't make sense to have an exterior look
Right.
like a true late 1800s home and then walk in and it's all brand new.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So it was the gentleman that owns it. He still wanted it to pay homage to that, which was great. But in a modern twist. So
Hmm.
it's not like, true traditional. A
Sure.
lot of the furniture is a traditional style, but we put real modern fabrics on it. So we had a lot of fun with that one
Yeah.
because he also is very adventurous, allows me to really think outside of the box, which those are the projects that I really, really appreciate.
Right. Now, what about all of this? There's homes that have solar and different things off the grid. Uh, People are putting batteries in homes. There's so many different nuances. You see in social media, people putting the way they do pools, the way they put uh, uh, things underground and create underground living, and there's so much going on.
Yeah.
Have you been involved in any designs similar to that, where I've seen people put a bus underground and put dirt over it and go inside and remodel it, and
Oh, wow.
there's so much stuff going on. Have you seen anything like that or been a part of a project like that?
I would love to, but not that extreme of project. But more of what we're seeing is the technology that is, increasing every day. And, even like fixtures that will sync up with your circadian rhythm.
Mm-hmm.
Um, those instances, I will bring in others that specialize in, tech advances because I won't say like I'm the expert on that. I will definitely bring in them and,
Sure.
have them as a part of the team.
Right.
But we have been doing a lot of buildings where, it's a residence, but they want to be able to have rental property.
Sure.
And a lot of those are kind of considered a tiny home. Maybe they're a little bit bigger, but to the extreme of what you're saying, that's about as far as I've gotten.
Right. Yeah. And what I was trying to remember was people are doing homes with shipping containers
Yeah.
and cutting them
Yes.
out, things like that.
We did consult on, there was another designer from Texas that was doing shipping container homes for somebody here in Colorado. So we kind of consulted on that one, and it was
Mhm.
going to be stuck on the side of a mountain. Um, so I wasn't the lead designer on that, but we consulted on that.
Got it. Well, Trish, the show is coming to a close, and I wanted you to do a kind of a parting shot to the audience. We had a really great conversation. What are a couple of things you want the audience to walk away with about your body of work, the industry, what you do? Let them know.
I would say if you're going to work with an interior designer or have any construction done, the most smooth project will have great plans set in place ahead of time. And honestly, and I don't say this because I'm an interior designer, but I think the interior designer should be employed first. And if an architect is needed, then yes, you can add that on. We think from the inside where you predominantly live. An architects typically think more from the outside going in. So even if it's just a remodel, kitchens especially, I think get the plans set in place first. Then you can take those plans and get proper pricing, more exact quotes. Because when people have contractors run in, yeah, they can throw out a number, but more times than not, it just increases. And that's not what anybody wants or likes.
Great.
So if you have the plan set in place, you get the proper numbers, get all the items, then start the construction.
Awesome.
It goes quick and smooth.
Awesome. Trish Bonney, Principal, Interior Design, Professional of the Year. Thank you, Trish. You've dropped a lot of undiscovered gems on our audience today. We appreciate you being on the show, and continued success to you and your business.
Thank you, and thank you for having me.